Yeah, there's still more Premier League action going away from, Europe, where we know all the fates of all the English sides. We already know those that will be going to the next round of the Champions League. Happy to see that Liverpool, of course, they blew everybody away in the Champions League. Arsenal did just enough. And for City, well, it's a pleasure for me that City did not go through anyways, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about other teams in the Premier League actually, and we're starting off with the other side of North London. I mean, the guys that try to fill among the top six, but I really don't know why they're there. And we're talking about no one else but Tottenham. And these guys have just been, even by their own standards, they've been below average this season. So much that Andre Postecoglou has been linked to a sack several times, but for now, he still has his job. Victor, this question is for you just straight away. After bowing out of the EFL Cup, after blowing, a first leg lead, what do you think Tottenham can salvage of this season? Because this season is already a disaster as it is, but what do you think they can salvage from this season?
Man, Spurs. I mean, the Europa League is still there, but it obviously won't be easy. They probably won't get anywhere through the league position either. If I were a Spurs fan, I would most likely just write the season off. Hope that there's some change, at least of outlook in the club's boardroom, because I don't think that the problem is necessarily in the dugout. And just look forward to August.
Yeah, fair enough. And speaking about their opponent, we're talking about Ipswich. Is there a slight chance they can still survive relegation?
Of course, there's a chance, and pretty much everyone that's still involved in the relegation battle has been very poor this season. But I can see all three newly promoted teams go down again. It would be the first time in Premier League history that this happens in two consecutive campaigns. I feel like the English Football League needs to try harder to bridge this increasing gap between the Premier League and the Championship. Ipswich themselves have not been terrible, at least not like Southampton, for instance, but it's hard to make an argument for Ipswich right now.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I just agree with your point. And it'll be sad to see all three newly promoted teams go down, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it is what it is at the moment. Yeah. So over to you, Max. Brighton are currently in 10th place, 37 points, and they are just 7 points, 7 points behind City, who are, fourth on the log. If you are to look at Brighton at the moment, where do you think is the highest they can finish?
Well, I don't see them even be close to top 7, so the only two teams they can overcome is Fulham and Aston Villa. Fulham, obviously, because they're not so good. And the Villa, the problem is for them, probably that they're playing Champions League playoffs, so if they can try to climb at least top 4 in Champions League, they might not look at EPL that good. So probably Brighton can be in 8th place, but most likely they're not in Europa League next season, anyways,
Fair enough.
or even
And
Conference League.
fair enough. Over to you, Victor. This one is on Chelsea. Chelsea, take on Aston Villa away. And the big question for Chelsea now is how far they have slumped. I mean, for context, for those that are watching and for all of us on this video, Chelsea were 2 points behind Liverpool in December. 2 points behind Liverpool. In fact, there were talks about Chelsea winning the league because they were just 2 points behind Liverpool as at December. And now they are out of the top five, and they could even drop further if results do not go their way this weekend. But first of all, what do you think their chances are of beating Aston Villa away?
It's tough, but it's tough for both of them. Villa aren't really clicking right now either, and they're loving draws.
Yeah,
They've got 4 draws in their last 5 league games. Chelsea are blowing hot and cold, and that also makes it an interesting fixture. I feel like a Chelsea win is more likely than a Villa win, but yeah, somehow either draw or Chelsea win. I just don't see Villa winning this one somehow.
yeah, fair enough. I think I agree with that too, to be fair. And moving on to you, Max, I seem to be asking you all the questions that involve, projections. But yeah, seems like you're good at projections. So only 6 points separate third place Nottingham Forest and Newcastle in seventh. First of all, how big is this game, and how do you think it could go in terms of a winner?
Well, I definitely see this game not seeing a lot of goals because both teams could be afraid of losing. So, how Newcastle played last time and how stable was Nottingham Forest throughout whole season, I don't see them losing 6 points and losing their spot in Champions League. So it might be a draw game, like 1-1 or even 0-0, and Newcastle won't get anywhere close to Nottingham Forest this season.
Well, that's a very bold statement to say. This game would not bring out much goals, but yeah, it could actually happen, given your reason. And nothing is impossible in the Premier League these days. And we just have to wait and see how everything plays out. As usual, we'd like you to give your comment in the section below. What becomes of Spurs and their season? What can they take up from their season? How high can Brighton finish this season? What next for Chelsea after they dropped out of the top five? And Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, who is going to come out on top? All of that and many more, of course. We'll be giving you all the best bits post match and also next week ahead of Game Week 27.